the Leapmotor C16, a Chinese-built electric SUV that just might turn Europe's car industry upside down. Now, here's the deal. For decades, Europe's roads have been dominated by the same names: Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, Peugeot, Renault, Mercedes. And when it comes to EVs, the conversation has been centered around Tesla and a handful of premium European offerings. But the Leapmotor C16 is entering the arena with something radically different: cutting-edge technology at a price that undercuts nearly everyone else. Let's start with the basics. The Leapmotor C16 is a full-sized 5-seater SUV unveiled at the Beijing International Auto Show, and it's built to be more than just get attention in China. It's part of Leapmotor's ambitious L-platform strategy, which isn't just about one car, it's about a lineup of versatile vehicles that can run on either full battery electric power or an extended range hybrid setup. That flexibility alone gives it a broader appeal than many EVs currently in Europe, which often force buyers into all-or-nothing choices. But here's where things get really interesting. Normally, when a Chinese automaker tries to break into Europe, they run into the same problems. No dealership network, no real trust from European buyers, and almost no infrastructure to support sales or service. Leapmotor, though, isn't playing by those rules. Thanks to a partnership with Stellantis, one of the world's largest automakers and the parent company of brands like Peugeot, Citroën, Fiat, Chrysler, Jeep, and Alfa Romeo, the C16 gets something most new entrants could only dream of: instant access to Europe's biggest distribution network. Think about that for a second. This isn't some niche EV that's going to show up in a handful of experimental showrooms. With Stellantis holding 51% of Leapmotor International, the C16 has a direct pipeline into an already trusted ecosystem of dealerships and service centers across Europe. That's a game changer. It means Leapmotor can skip years of brand building and jump straight to serious competition. And then there's the price. In China, the C16 starts at around RMB 158,800. That's about 21,500 USD. Now, of course, by the time it hits Europe, taxes, tariffs, and adjustments will push that number up. But even if it lands at double that figure, it will still undercut many European rivals by tens of thousands of dollars. And the kicker? This isn't some bare-bones budget car. The C16 comes loaded with tech and features that you'd normally expect to find in a luxury SUV costing far more. Underneath, the C16 rides on Leapmotor's 4-leaf clover integrated architecture, which is basically their full-stack next-gen platform. In plain terms, it's engineered to compete at the highest level. Buyers can choose between a pure electric BEV version with an 800-volt platform and a 67 kilowatt-hour battery good for over 500 kilometers of range, or an extended range hybrid, EREV, that combines a 1.5-liter gas engine with an electric motor and a 28.4 kilowatt-hour battery. That kind of flexibility is exactly what European buyers are looking for, especially first-time EV adopters. Now, let's step inside. This SUV doesn't just drive modern, it looks modern the second you open the door. The interior centers around a massive 14.6-inch touchscreen paired with a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster, both running off Qualcomm's ultra-powerful Snapdragon 8925 chip. This isn't just a pretty screen, it's the brain of the car, capable of running complex AI systems and driver assistance features at speeds that leave many European rivals in the dust. And speaking of driver assistance, the C16 isn't cutting corners here either. You're looking at a Level 2 Plus advanced driver assistance system, complete with adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, automatic parking, and even LiDAR sensors for more precise semi-autonomous driving. That's right, LiDAR, the kind of tech that you'd expect to see on a 6-figure vehicle, now showing up on something priced for the mainstream market. Add in luxury touches like a panoramic sunroof, high-end audio system, and surprisingly spacious cabin, and you've got a car that doesn't just challenge European brands on price, it challenges them on comfort and status too. So here's the big question. Can Leapmotor really pull this off? Can they bring the C16 to Europe and actually get buyers to choose it over a Volkswagen ID.4, a Tesla Model Y, or a Peugeot E300? Well, that's where things get really fascinating, and we'll dive into that in part 2. Because the C16 isn't just a car, it's a chess move in a much larger game that could completely reset the balance of power in Europe's auto market. But before we continue, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the second half of this story. Trust me, you'll want to see how this plays out. So now that we know what the Leapmotor C16 brings to the table, let's talk about why this SUV could seriously shake up Europe's auto market and why established brands should be nervous. Here's the reality. Europe has been proud of its legacy automakers for decades. Mercedes, Audi, BMW, Peugeot, Renault, Mercedes. And when it comes to EVs, the conversation has been centered around Tesla and a handful of premium European offerings. But the Leapmotor C16 is entering the arena with something radically different, cutting-edge technology at a price that undercuts nearly everyone else. Let's put it in perspective. A Volkswagen ID.4 starts north of Euro 40,000 in many markets. A Tesla Model Y can push past 50,000 euros depending on the trim. Meanwhile, if the C16 lands somewhere between 25,000 and 30,000 euros, even with import costs, it will instantly become one of the most compelling deals in the EV segment. That's not just competitive, that's disruptive. And it's not just about price, the technology gap is narrowing fast. With that Snapdragon 8925 chip running its smart cockpit, the C16 already outpaces several European rivals in terms of raw computing power. Its driver assist suite with LiDAR gives it a future-proof edge, and the extended range hybrid option eliminates range anxiety, one of the biggest barriers for new EV adopters. Now, here's the kicker. Leapmotor isn't walking into Europe alone. With Stellantis backing the distribution, buyers get something priceless: peace of mind. They know they'll have access to a wide dealership network, real service support, and a level of trust that most Chinese newcomers could never offer. This makes the C16 not just another foreign import, but a product supported by the same company that already sells Fiats, Peugeots, Jeeps, and Citroëns across the continent. But let's be fair. There are challenges too. Brand perception will be a hurdle. European buyers may hesitate at first, skeptical about quality, long-term reliability, and resale value of a Chinese EV. Protectionist policies and tariffs could also push prices higher than expected, cutting into its affordability advantage. And of course, established automakers aren't going to sit still. They'll respond with price cuts, incentives, or upgraded models of their own. Still, if history has taught us anything, it's that when a product combines breakthrough technology, aggressive pricing, and strong distribution, it tends to win over the market. We've already seen how Tesla went from outsider to market leader in less than a decade. Leapmotor, thanks to Stellantis, has the infrastructure to make a similar leap in Europe faster than anyone thought possible. So what does this mean for the average European driver? It means choice. It means that for the first time, you won't have to pick between a premium-priced EV with great features or a stripped-down budget model with compromises. The C16 aims to offer both luxury-level tech at a family-friendly price. And that could force every automaker in Europe to rethink their strategy. And let's not forget the bigger picture. If Leapmotor succeeds, it won't just be about one SUV. It could open the door for a wave of new Chinese EVs backed by Stellantis, each one bringing competitive pricing and advanced features. That would send shockwaves through the industry, sparking an all-out EV arms race where the real winners are the customers. At the end of the day, the Leapmotor C16 isn't just a car. It's a statement that the balance of power in the global auto industry is shifting. And for Europe, this might be the moment when buyers realize that the future of driving could come from somewhere entirely unexpected. So the question is, will Europe embrace it? Or will the C16 become another ambitious challenger that fades away before it gets its chance? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Automakers across Europe are watching this SUV very closely. And so should you, because the Leapmotor C16 might just be the leap that changes everything. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay ahead of the biggest stories in the automotive world, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Trust me, what's coming next in the EV market is something you won't want to miss.